It's a film with three brains. 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 It's a film with three brains.
Oh my god, you guys are freaks.
He's here. I can feel it.
You search for the scent of your prey, and then you hunt them down. That's the only thing you're committed to.
It keeps me sharp, on the edge, where I gotta be. You want to be making moves on the street? Allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner. No, my life's a disaster zone because I spend all my time chasing guys like you around the block. I do what I do best. I take scores. You do what you do best, trying to stop guys like me.
You've been walking through our life dead.
All I am is what I'm going after.
From The Godfather to Scent of a Woman.
What do we got?
From Raging Bull to Goodfellas.
Assume they got our phones, assume they got our houses, assume they got us.
Their performances have created a legacy of landmark films.
I want full surveillance. That's 24 hours, round the clock. We never close, open 7 days a week.
Now, for the first time, America's two most electrifying actors collide.
With this guy, there's more cheap you should pass. The bank is worth the risk. You should take it down.
12.2 million.
You're up. This crew is good.
It ain't worth the risks you take. Like in risk versus reward, baby.
You're fugitive number one with a bullet.
I'm double the worst trouble you ever had. If I'm there and I gotta put you away, I won't like it. But I'll tell you, you are going down. What if you do got me boxed in and I gotta put you down? Because no matter what, you will not get in my way. I will not hesitate for a second.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer in a Michael Mann film. Heat.
Hello, and welcome to the Film with Three Brains. I am Sean in Chicago.
And I am Cohen in Maplewood, New Jersey.
And it's Sam in San Francisco. And brother, you are going down.
Down. All right. That is a line from Heat, 1995, directed and written by Michael Mann. The principals are Al Pacino and Bobby De Niro. Robert, I guess. Robert. It is almost 3 hours long. It's a bit lengthy as far as movies go. But yeah, I mean, it's a crime thriller drama type of action movie, I guess. It's not that, but it's
What?
is it a genre? I mean, is like a detective thriller?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it doesn't feel like a detective movie as much as like a head cop against a head bad guy.
Yeah, kind of like a crime thriller, I guess.
Crime thriller.
I don't really think of it as an action movie exactly, I guess.
Yeah. You're right. It's not an action movie because it's
Kind of is,
lot
I
of
guess.
space.
But it
It's action
doesn't feel
sequence.
like one
Yeah.
because it's so smart for the most part.
So this is my second time. I don't remember seeing it in the theater. Maybe it was just you guys, but I hate to say that because I want to be in on the group.
You were there in spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Well, that December, Toy Story came out, and was it Jumanji? Not Jumanji. Maybe it was Jumanji. Anyway, other movies came out
No.
that I saw that winter at the.
You
at
saw
the
other
theater.
movies that winter?
Can you
Oh.
believe it? Other
This-
movies. I saw
This is
movies
riveting. This is already the most exciting review.
I
we've
mean,
ever
we are
had.
coming out of the gates. Lots of, hard hitting facts. No, has anyone seen this more than 2 times? Colin, I'm looking in your
I have.
direction. Okay.
I would say I've seen it maybe 4 times.
4
But I will say that
times.
this is one of the rare movies. I can only think of one other movie I've ever seen where the first time I saw it, I didn't really care for it. Mm. And then some time had gone by, and then I decided to watch it again because it seemed impossible. And then I watched it again, and then I liked it. And I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't know why. I don't know what the circumstances were that would have caused me to maybe not have been paying attention the first time I saw it or what. But I remember seeing it and being underwhelmed and thinking that was fine, I guess. And then some time went by, I came on a video, and at some point I rented it, and then it like blew me away. I was like, how the fuck? How could I have watched this and not been like, God damn, that's good?
I have a love
And
hate relationship.
the only other time that ever happened was also in the 90s was with The Big Lebowski. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw it in the theater, and I was like, oh, well,
I
that
did too.
wasn't that great of a Coen Brothers movie at all. And then some time went by, I saw it again and went, oh my God, where was my brain the first time I saw this? Because this movie's fucking
That's
great.
very common. And I have the same experience with that movie. Both of those movies. Yeah. I had the same feeling about Heat. I like I remember being annoyed about the ending.
Yes.
I do too.
Like,
not so much this time, but yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed kind of fitting this time. Everything seemed to work really well. Maybe just there's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's quick. It doesn't wait for you. It doesn't explain who's doing what. You know, the Waingro like subplot is huge, and I had no idea the first time I saw it, like what the heck that was about. I didn't really catch all the lingo. Sam, do you have any thoughts?
I have no thoughts
along those lines.
When I was young, I used to think.
I beat it out of you.
Yep.
That's too bad.
So yeah, I think that this movie had such hype for us because this is, Pacino, De Niro in the same movie together. Like there was so much expectation because at that point they were the gods. They were like, for people who weren't there, it's hard to understand. I don't even know what two people today you'd be so excited about if they were in a movie together. I have no idea. But for us, I mean, these were the guys who made every great crime movie, and it's going from The Godfather. I mean, we cover Casino, Carlito's Way, Donnie Brasco. There's so many things that these guys were in. So it was just, I think I went into this movie just expecting it to somehow be absolutely amazing every single moment. And for me, I love the cat and mouse. I love that they go out for coffee and all that. And I don't like the ending. And not that I don't mind that, okay, spoiler alert, turn off your thing. Okay, go watch the movie, come back. All right. Not that I don't mind that Al Pacino kills him or shoots him. Like, that's fine. I don't like the way he gets shot. I think
you mean the whole, like the circumstances, the way the lights come on, and he sees his shadow and all that shit.
Well, what I don't like is when you set up your guy to be a super genius criminal the whole way through, and he has this mantra, know when to walk away. Like the whole movie's about, that comes up over and over, and it's more than just walking away from the woman. It's he walked away from the job that they were doing, and there was no reason to go back to Waingro. Like they didn't set him up as so dedicated to his friends that he wouldn't walk away from them. Like to me, I felt like he would just walk away from his friends for the most part at any point too, if he had to. I mean, he seemed to have a little bit more of a special relationship with Chris, but that part was over. So the fact that he went after Waingro, pretty dumb when he's so close to getting away. The fact that he parks his car behind the hotel, but then pulls the fire alarm, like also pretty dumb, that he runs through the thing. He could just have ducked behind something and laid down in the grass and never been found. Like, okay. And he should have been on his way to the plane, wherever that was. Then he knows the lights. He steps out from behind the lights when all he had to do was lean out from the edge and make the shot. But he steps all the way out and stands there long enough without taking the shot for Al Pacino to turn 180 degrees and make the shot. because of his shadow. Like, it just was like too many,
The only thing I disagree with is the 180 degrees part. I thought Pacino was pretty much knew he kind of was more or less lined up, but he didn't know exactly where he came out, but he was facing that way.
Well, Pacino saw the shadow and he turned and then shoots
so
him.
He was kind of like this.
He sees the shadow on the ground.
It was like it
was 90, whatever it was. It wasn't straight on. He saw the shadow first. And then he turns and shoots. But in that amount of time, De Niro should have shot.
I feel like he got lucky. I feel like that first shot was like a reaction, like a gut reaction. He didn't even aim. He just shot. And then because then there's a moment, and then he shoots him, points and does the proper job. But I do remember thinking that very thing, like that. How does this guy, such a mastermind, and then he gets done in such a weird way? It bothers me less because the Waingro thing specifically, that if you recall, they were going to kill him. Like Waingro's has the power to screw him all over. Yep. And he doesn't strike me as the kind to go to the ends of the earth and find him. But as far as tying up loose ends, you can still make a case that Waingro had to go, and he had a chance to take him out. And he's like, "Well,
need to.
I got to take
care
of this."
At this point, De Niro's face should be on every news, every television, every news station, because they know
he
who
doesn't
he is.
need to. But who else would do it?
But what I'm saying is that De Niro can't be seen anywhere because De Niro is all over the evening news. They know he did this bank. He left not wearing a mask. They were all seen. It's not like there's no mystery as to who these criminals were. At this point, they are totally outed. It doesn't even matter what Waingro says. What's Waingro going to say?
They know their names. They know everything.
I was part of this. Like it doesn't help.
I think the Waingro thing is fine. Sam, I agree with you about De Niro's character's sort of motivations at the end, but I also think playing devil's advocate, I think you could argue that it is in character what he does, and the Waingro thing isn't about not getting caught. It's just about revenge.
Yeah.
And so, I think you could argue that Edie has fundamentally changed the De Niro character.
Yeah, I think they're going for that.
In two reasons. One, he knows he's free. And like it's like his emotions are now he's feeding on his emotions a bit more, by this time, and he's not the cool sort of almost robotic, disciplined, thief that he was. He's different now. And so he lets his desire for revenge get the better of him. And then at the end, he does hesitate. That's how I think you can argue that Al Pacino was able to see his shadow and shoot him, is because he comes up on him and he waits. And you could say it's a plot hole or something, or, it's a convenience so Al Pacino can win. Or you could argue that for all his bluster in the diner, and in the end, he hesitates.
I would love it if he saw his plane leave without him first. If he knew, he's like, that's it, game over. And I told you I'm going to die instead of go back to jail. Yeah. I would have loved that. I would have been like, he's like, I am not going back to jail.
I mean, you could, I think you're onto something there though, too. Like you could argue that as well. You could argue he didn't shoot him on purpose because he lost the woman and he told her, if I don't have you, I don't know what I'm running to anymore. Like, what's the point?
Yep. And that would have been great too. As it is, the woman has all the money in that car.
Does she?
Well, she has one bag worth, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, not all.
One third of. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know what happened to the other two bags? Well, Tom Sizemore gets killed, so they have.
He's killed with a bag on him, I think.
So he must have one, and he gets away. That's that thing you said about De Niro's face being all over the news. The same for Val Kilmer. Like that scene bothers me.
Yep, me too a little bit.
It's a great scene right up until they let him go.
To me,
with Ashley Judd on the balcony and all that, and that was great. Such a powerful scene, and then they let him go because his like documents check out. They don't know what he looks like. That's insane.
We cut off all his hair, and this is the day before on the news.
They only
They only show the driver on the news.
Yeah,
because he's dead.
But they know all their names.
The cops do, but
they
they
have
didn't release
right?
all that. I didn't. No, they didn't know. They don't know De Niro until they make him at the or well, whatever. I mean, they know De Niro as the movie progresses. They know Chris because they were tailing him,
and they have his wife. Like they know who he is. They have a picture of him somewhere.
Yeah,
There's no way he doesn't have a record. Doesn't he? He must have a mugshot. They must have seen pictures of him in their house when they went to get her.
The plan was that she's bait and she's on the balcony waving at him, and therefore she can identify him. I mean, that is a little silly when you think about it.
Yeah, I thought the whole point was that she makes it seem like the coast is clear and he should come inside.
Yeah, that it's
right.
the same.
And then
house.
she warns him off.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you. Okay. I love that scene. I love it. I love the look on her face. I love the look on his face. The little wave. Everything about it is so perfect. And I forgive them for the pullover and not recognizing them. Because
I do too. You know, I just wish it was handled slightly different.
Yeah. So
that's
anyway,
fair.
Could have had a fake beard.
Yeah, they didn't have any vehicles, or they didn't have any identification. They didn't have any aliases, I guess, for any of the guys. So his checked out. All right, so we've covered a couple nitpicks. What's the best thing about this movie? If you had to pick one thing.
I love the bank robbery scene. It is so the intensity and the escape and the I mean, you watch this movie with the sound on, like a good stereo. It is like the gunshots are everywhere. You get your whole house to vibrate with it. And no, it's such a great action scene. It's just, I mean, that's part of my thing about this movie is that's such a great action scene. And there's still like, 45 minutes of the movie left. And nothing else after that is that heart pounding. So it's weird to have that really climactic, moment. And then the rest of it is this kind of, where is he? What's he doing? And to me, it's not really great sleuthing that finds him. That's what part of the thing that bothers me. It's De Niro making mistakes rather than Pacino outsmarting him. And so to me, I feel like it should that this, it's like an awesome chess game that had a great beginning, has a great middle, and then it comes to end game and someone just falters a little bit, and you're like, what? Like just he made the wrong move and that's it, game over. I love the bank robbery.
Yeah, I read an interesting little factoid about that scene, that whole sequence that Michael Mann had mics placed all over the place to capture all the sounds of the scene on set, including the gunshots and everything. So they'd sound, everything would sound more authentic than, traditionally a lot of that stuff would be added later in the mix, sound effects and whatever. And he wanted it all like on set live as it was happening. And it shows you just said it, like you said, like your whole house vibrates. And it's true. I remember thinking before I read that factoid, when that scene was happening, I was thinking these gunshots sound just different, like louder.
Well, there's like a little echo.
I can't say more authentic because I've never heard like automatic weapons out in front of a bank being fired, but it certainly had a more visceral effect than most movies.
Yeah. I remember them talking about Spielberg's attention to detail in Saving Private Ryan and how they got the caliber of the guns right and everything. You can't really tell from that perspective, but I agree. It really stands out, and it's not surprising to know that they had an ex-special service, British tactical weapons trainer and advisor, and they trained for 3 months with blanks on that scene, and you can you can tell. And I've also read separately somewhere that they actually show that scene to, I think, law enforcement, to obviously not in that context, not like a bank robbery scene, but as far as tactical stance and just the way that they handle the weapons and fire them is really realistic. And so I love that. I love just the attention to detail and the appreciation they have for what the story they're telling. Or, Michael Mann, of course, this is Los Angeles. It's his city. Like he, nobody does it like him. But it's got to be. I mean, I can't think of anything that really works as well as this movie. Like I like Collateral, which is in LA, but that's sort of a different story. That's sort of a smaller cat and mouse game.
Those two, this and Collateral are definitely my two favorite Michael Mann movies.
I'd say so. And we did Thief, but that's not really, doesn't really, well, wasn't so Neil McCauley is that De Niro's character? So it's sort of all the same guy he's writing about, apparently. I mean, there's a real guy in Chicago that was robbing banks, and they really did have a sit down at a coffee shop, apparently. But it said that like the thief guy and the Collateral guy, I guess. Well, I'm not sure about there were like three guys that kind of tie into Neil. They're called Neil, I think, in his movies. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm grasping at straws. I was hoping someone would help me out with that, but but he clearly has an idea of this person, and he wrote a book. He wrote a prequel sequel type of deal,
which they're making into a movie.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
So they're making a prequel
Heat
to this
2.
movie based on De Niro's character.
Yeah,
or Pacino's.
De Niro.
Yeah, De Niro's is Neil McCauley, and who did they had someone in mind? Was it Adam Driver? Adam Driver, yeah.
That
which is
be
interesting.
Good. I like Adam Driver.
Yeah, I'd be into that. Me too.
I think he does a great job. He takes interesting roles. That's cool.
Yeah.
In Collateral, Tom Cruise's name is Vincent, which is what Al Pacino's name is. And then in Thief, James Caan's name is Frank.
All right, so.
But, I mean, certainly between the James Caan character and the De Niro character, the similarities are undeniable. I mean, there's also, this is basically, Heat is basically a remake of a TV movie Michael Mann made several years earlier called LA Takedown.
It was on NBC or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same, almost exact story, I think. I mean, the names are even the same. Or some of them are. Vincent Hanna. LA Takedown is funny. I've never seen it, but I don't know. They changed the name of Neil McCauley, but Michael Cerrito is the same, and some other stuff is the same. Edie is the same. All different actors.
Yeah. Okay.
But
okay. I guess I was thrown by this line in the Wikipedia development. Michael Mann for Heat, just like for Collateral and Thief, creates the character of Neil McCauley, played by blah 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 blah. Yeah. Drawing inspiration from the minimalist and detached style of what I like. The way that sentence is written did not help me at all. But yeah, I mean, it's more importantly, it's Michael Mann is just like the king of this whatever you want to call this. What do we go with? Crime.
Yeah, crime thriller.
Crime thriller,
I guess.
It's got a lot of drama in it too, though. I completely forgot about Natalie Portman.
I did too.
Oh yeah, me too.
I totally forgot she was in this. Yeah. And I totally forgot what happened to her.
Me too.
At the end.
Yep.
I like.
Were we supposed to see that coming somehow?
I don't think so.
A little bit. There's
sort of?
I mean, there's the part where she freaks out about her barrettes or whatever early on. That reaction is clearly like not what you would expect from a well-adjusted teenager or whatever she's supposed to be. I don't even know how old she's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like she is maybe on the spectrum or or something like that, or it's just having some kind of issues, So in that regard, I guess you could say, oh, okay. I mean, they kind of hinted that maybe, I guess it could be, I don't know. But I like that. I like the way they sort of each character serves a purpose. Nothing's extraneous, and everything is circular. So we even if we don't find out to the end, what's up with the character. Everyone gets their sort of due diligence by the end.
Yep. I like it too. That
which I like.
It's really stereotypic to say that the detective has a bad home life. That's pretty cliche. At this point, but the way he did it seemed fresh and real rather than just stereotypic. So I thought that and the way he acknowledged it and the way they acknowledged each other in the life that they live, like I thought that whole thing whereas it could have been something that's like, oh, this is just filler and dumb and we're used to it. It came across as just really well done, in my opinion. I thought the kind of the stress and what it would be to live with someone who is truly obsessed and in love with their job and knows it. I really like the way they did that. I thought, this is nothing to do with what we came to see. We came to see Pacino and De Niro face off, and yet all these moments away, in even Van Zandt and his stuff, like every time they took you away from Pacino and De Niro, it was still worth seeing. It was still an exciting, it was an important part of the movie, and same with Val Kilmer and his wife, and then him acknowledging that the sun rises and sets on her, which is at the moment a pretty foreign concept to De Niro, and then eventually he gets it. So I just thought, this is why this movie is 2 hours and 50 minutes long. I think that's one of the criticisms of it, is that it's too long. You can cut it out. But actually, when you look at it, you're like, what are you really going to cut out? Like if you cut out all the other stuff, you have a really basic movie, even starring two really great actors. But there's so much more depth to this movie than what needed to be in there. And that's why it stands out, I think, 30 years later.
I agree. I think that Michael Mann agreed too, because the TV version was cut 3 hours with commercials. When there's how many broadcast television has a shit ton of commercials. So anyway, but he thought that they deleted all the scenes that kind of killed the narrative, and he hated it so much that he didn't put his name on it. He went with the generic Alan Smithy, I think is the name. So yeah, he didn't care for that because, I mean, I really feel like he put his heart and soul into this movie, and it's one of those rare occasions where he directed it and wrote it, and I can't take issue with either one of them. There's nitpicks we can make, but on the whole, it's like this vision was so clear.
Yep,
it's very effective. Well, Sam gave us a good what his favorite thing was. It's not my favorite thing, but I was surprised how well the music worked. I noticed it more toward the end, just how subtle it is and how almost like haunting in a way. The music is sort of haunting, and but not. It didn't get totally like Tangerine Dream type of 80s because I was thinking about Live and Die in LA, because there are similarities, the setting, the action, some of the action, and then the guy going crazy, the cop or the agent guy going crazy, and I mean it was a gritty nature to both of them, I guess. But anyway, the music I just thought was restrained and good, and I was like, wait, this guy has done a lot of other movies, and I don't know if any of them are this good.
Yeah, I liked them. I honestly didn't really notice the music much until the bank robbery scene. And at that point I noticed that at first I thought I didn't think there was a score at all, and then I realized there was. It was just extremely low.
Yeah.
Like in the mix. And it was also, I mean, it was it was sparsely populated with instrumentation. It was just a couple of, I don't even remember what, but it wasn't like a whole orchestra. It was just a couple of instruments. And then it was real low, so like you almost forgot it was there. And it sort of stays that way from the bank robbery all the way through to the end, when he kills him, the music becomes like very sort of much bigger. And almost like the track is like inspirational. It's strange, but it works really well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's I don't know how he pulled that off, but I was buying it.
Yeah.
And the scene when he gets Pacino gets dropped off from the helicopter and gets in a car and starts cruising down the interstate, and there's that rock song which apparently was Moby, which I thought, I mean, in the moment I thought it kind of worked, but I was like, it's Moby. I'm not a big Moby fan, but but it worked. It still worked.
Yeah.
I thought.
Agreed. I think it's the bank robbery scene is so exciting and so compelling and so well done, but but I mean the diner scene is pretty stinking iconic too.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And I like Al Pacino's performance is a little strange in this at times, and I read a very interesting factoid about that, and that in earlier drafts the cop he's playing, Vincent, has a cocaine habit.
Yeah.
And so he was, early on his performance reflected that. So they say. And in that regard, it makes a little bit more sense because some of it was like cartoonish and comical. I was like, what?
Yeah.
The scene with Tone Loc, you remember
Yeah.
And he's like, you kill walking your doggy.
Yeah. And the thing with Hank Azaria, because she's got a great ass.
Yeah. Did you read that Hank Azaria was shocked? That wasn't acting. Because he wasn't expecting that line. It was ad-libbed.
Yeah. You got your whole head up it. Okay.
Yeah. There were a couple of times when I was like, could Pacino like pull back a little? But I mean, where's the fun in that?
Yeah. But then in the diner scene, he's totally restrained.
He is restrained then.
And it's so good.
Yep.
Them two together is so great. And it's interesting reading about the production, about how Michael Mann had two cameras set up. They didn't rehearse, so it would feel a little more, natural and organic, them sitting across from each other for the first time, and capturing whatever they're doing with the multiple cameras, which is smart. It's great. It's a great scene.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at it, they don't say anything. Sam was mentioning like cliche stuff. I wouldn't say it's cliche, but there was nothing earth shattering about what they said.
No.
It's kind of like the other stuff, that the way that they looked at each other. I mean, Pacino doesn't like to look at people when he talks to them in general. He's sort of like, but sometimes works. I mean, sometimes I think he's still in Scent of a Woman, being
right,
a blind guy. But that's just his style. It's just how he does things.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about that scene that is kind of indefinable.
Yeah. Yeah, they're sort of, both of them they're not saying a ton. It's just two like dudes sizing each other up. It's pretty cool scene.
Yeah, and there's respect there. They don't go overboard, but they kind of say like, "Yeah, I like you, but I'll still get you." Or what was it? Take you down. You're going down, brother.
Yeah.
Yep. Brother, you're going.
Take you downtown to Chinatown. When did Meet the Parents come out? Was it after this? Had to have been after this, right?
Late 90s.
I mean, this is 95.
Get those interns going.
It's 2000. Meet the Parents is 2000. So yeah.
Well, so Michael Mann just finished officially finished the screenplay like March 31st was when he, according to Variety.com, it's
he finished the screenplay. He handed in the first draft, and then it was Warner Brothers, and he said he couldn't talk about it more than that. It's an exciting project. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a prequel and a sequel. It would be like before and like flashbacks, I guess. So it'll be like Adam Driver will be Neil De Niro, and then they're going to recast. They're not going to have De Niro and Pacino play, but
right
for the later stuff, I guess. It seems a little tricky, and he hinted that it was pretty epic, pretty large story, which you're not surprised, but it's definitely going to be worth a look. I don't see how I wouldn't be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Michael Mann's last few movies. I don't think.
Variety also said he was working on an adaptation of a South Korean crime movie called Veteran.
Never heard of it.
It's in production or development.
Yeah, so he's only directed a couple of movies, I guess, since Public Enemies was the last one I saw, and that was in 2009. He worked on a series called Luck. Was that the one with? Oh, is that the one they had to shut down because of the horse?
Yeah, it was Racetrack.
With Dustin Hoffman.
I watched like the first episode or two.
I think they canceled it because they killed a horse or something.
That sounds right. I mean, horse racing in general is notorious for killing horses on bad tracks.
So he did that. I guess he directed one episode of that. Then he did Black Hat with what's his name? Thor. Right? Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Plays a hacker or something. That's terrible casting.
Yeah.
Tokyo
Big
Vice.
muscles that are needed for computer programming.
One episode of Tokyo Vice, which I never saw, with that Engel or Orgelvolts or whatever I can't remember his name. And then Ferrari with Adam Driver, which I haven't seen either.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet either.
Oh, yeah.
That's on my list.
Shoot, we haven't seen that. We can't talk about it. If anyone is listening or watching and has seen Ferrari and has any thoughts, you know what to do. I mean, I assume you do.
Feel free to email us at the film with 3 brains.
Well, we do respond to
gmail.com.
what do you call it? Social media posts, or do we?
We
prefer email, I guess, but
has anyone ever posted anything about it?
I don't know.
Does it matter?
I mean, people will comment on your Instagram and say, "I love that movie" or something, but
once in a while.
Once in a while. But yeah, they may not respond specifically to our little request to review Ferrari for us.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Heat has a lot of recognizable people in it. I forgot a lot of them. Besides, I mean, I think Natalie Portman's the biggest one for me that I was like, oh, right. But I forgot
Tone Loc.
McKelty Williamson, who plays Bubba Gump.
He's a cop, right?
Dennis Haysbert, who plays the getaway driver at the end. Ted Levine plays the cop who's puts the lotion in the basket from Sounds of the Lambs.
He kind of sneaks in.
William Fichtner.
That's your guy.
I love that dude.
It's too bad he didn't get more to do in this, because he seems, at first he's like, oh, I got tons of money and I'm scary, and then the next scene you're like, he's scared for his life. That turned around really quickly.
Yeah, Van Zandt.
I like him too, and I was when I saw him, I was like, that guy was in a bunch of stuff, and then he just kind of disappeared. I mean, you love him because of Armageddon.
And Go.
he's not. No, actually, he's. They give him nothing to do in Armageddon.
Yeah,
I feel like he just yells at people, and it's not very interesting. He's great in. Do you ever see a terrible Nicolas Cage movie called Drive Angry?
No.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's so bad. I saw the end of it a few weeks ago. I saw the very end of it.
Nicolas Cage plays a convict who gets killed, and then he escapes from hell.
Yeah,
and the quote unquote the accountant who's sent from the devil sends to retrieve him is William Fichtner in a suit. They call him the accountant, and he's awesome. He's so great. He's so much better than this movie. So he's awesome. If they'd have taken him in that performance in a good movie, it would have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's worth watching just for his performance, even though the rest of the movie is total fucking dog shit.
Yeah, Henry Rollins too. I mean,
yeah, Henry Rollins. He's terrible, but whatever.
Doesn't do anything.
Hank Azaria, Tom Noonan,
Jeremy Piven is the.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that too. Like
late night
Jeremy
doctor.
Oh yeah. It was.
He's like, my daughter gave me this shirt. Give me this shirt. It's like, shut up. Give me this shirt.
I forgot John Voight was in this.
John Voight is surprisingly effective as the quiet dude.
Yeah, he's really good. He's like, do you guys ever watch Ray Donovan?
A little bit.
He's John Voight plays the Ray Donovan's dad, and he's a real piece of shit in the show. And his performance is much louder and sort of bombastic, and he's a big blowhard, kind of a braggart. And I haven't seen him in much recently since that. And so that's kind of in my mind. And so when I saw him in this, I was like, geez, it's so good. It's so different. It's so great. Like, I understand. Yeah. You're reminded that, I mean, he's a great actor.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like him and everything, but you can't argue with his body's work, and he's won an Academy Award and stuff and all that.
Yeah.
Jazz.
And he's great in this.
Has anybody surprised that Danny Trejo plays the character Trejo?
I forgot he was in this too.
When they said that, I was like, was that a mistake or is that really his name? Yeah,
that's what I thought too.
Right? Did Robert De Niro fuck up?
Yeah,
his name.
I guess he does have a first name, Gilbert Trejo, but they never use it. They just call him Trejo.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that, like, in the opening credits, it's Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, John Voight, Ashley Judd, Amy Brenneman. I think McKelty Williamson, and even Dennis Haysbert, but not Danny Trejo, who plays one of the core four guys on the crew.
He's in the crew.
But he wasn't really known back then. At that point, he was the bad guy in every movie.
No, I know, but his character in the movie is he doesn't get a ton of screen time, but he is like he's one of the Beatles here. So you'd think
you're right.
Right.
Yeah. Even if he's just the drummer.
Yeah.
Just the drummer. Did you notice the uncredited appearance by a double up of ours in the restaurant? Yelling at Dennis
Haysbert, the guy yelling at him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yelling at him, yeah.
Is that the Harold Maude guy?
Yes, Bud Cort.
Bud Cort, right.
Yeah. Because we did, I think, the cheerleader movie, I Want to Be I'm a Cheerleader.
Is he in that?
I thought he was. I thought he was
But I'm a Cheerleader?
But I'm a Cheerleader, yeah. I thought he was the dad in that. Let's see. He's definitely Harold and Maude, which I love. Great movie.
That's a good one.
What year is
Oh yeah, you're right. But I'm a Cheerleader.
But I'm a Cheerleader. Okay.
99.
Anyway. Yeah, there's just tons of people in this.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it covers a lot of ground, I guess. Yeah.
It does. And the fact that Keanu Reeves might have played Val Kilmer's part, the Chris role.
Mm-hmm.
That's bizarre.
I read a couple of conflicting sort of things about that. One was that Keanu Reeves was cast because Val Kilmer wasn't available shooting Batman Forever, but then for whatever reason he freed up and they basically got rid of Keanu Reeves and hired Val Kilmer. But then I read another thing that said Keanu Reeves left to do something else. Matrix. I forgot now. No.
Matrix.
Matrix was
years later.
It was like Hamlet or something.
Oh yeah, he did Hamlet in Canada.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, it does. I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he pulled out. But
well, I like that Val Kilmer said that he knew he had to make room to be in this movie so he could call Pacino and De Niro Al and Bob for the rest of his life. And that his agent said that he was gonna, that they were gonna pay him too little money for how big of a star he was, and he made a deal with Michael Mann that he'd be between Pacino and De Niro on the movie poster, and that would be compensation. So when you look at the poster, it's De Niro and Pacino are huge, and there's a little Val Kilmer holding a gun in the middle.
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh, thanks.
Now, I just realized something in that. Looking at that poster, the guys with the casting the shadows. Isn't that what the Inception poster looks like?
Kind of, yeah.
And I read a thing that said this was Christopher Nolan's favorite movie.
Yeah, this is one of his favorites. Yep.
Yeah.
And he uses Van Zandt in Dark Knight.
Oh, right.
Buddy Fichtner is in...
Yeah. Do you know who you're stealing from?
Yeah, I mean, the influence is kind of crazy because there are actual, not copycats, but people that were inspired by Heat, like criminals.
Yeah.
The French gangster guy, he told Michael Mann at a film festival, "You were my technical advisor." And then there were, robberies in South Africa, Colombia, Denmark, Norway, and then most especially 1997, the North Hollywood shootout.
Yeah.
And those guys, there was two guys, Larry and Emil, and Larry had a copy of Heat in his VCR when they caught him.
That's crazy.
Or, well, they shot him dead, but I found it later.
Yeah, I remember that when that happened. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's just like Heat.
Was that when they were all full body armor and he had
I think so.
It went on for a long time, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't.
It was crazy.
I was trying to remember if that's the one I was thinking of.
I think that's what I think.
That's the only one that comes to mind where there's enough of a shootout to actually make the news and be talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
But that shootout was the longest and bloodiest. Well, it says one of the longest and bloodiest events in police history in the U.S. Well, probably anywhere. Let's face it. Both robbers killed, 11 police officers and 7 civilians injured.
Dang.
Jesus.
And then, Heat was widely referenced in the news coverage. But I mean, more than that, I mean, like Grand Theft Auto, like multiple games in that franchise were lifted from that, from this movie, or more or less. It's in Grand Theft Auto 5. There's a mission called Blitz Play. You gotta block and then knock over an armored car in order to rob it. So
yeah,
it's not a stretch. Not me making stuff up like I usually do. It says, and then one last one says, director Mia Hansen-Løve said she's obsessed with Heat, with the themes, and I don't know who that is, but she did something called Things to Come. I don't know. And you can see that you're either impressed by it or you're respected enough to use some bit of it. I like a lot of the surveillance stuff from this movie. I mean,
yeah, I love the scene where they sort of set up the cops.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all in there, and Al Pacino figures it out.
Yeah.
He's like, I know what they were looking at. They're looking at us, motherfucker.
It is.
And
great.
he can't really pinpoint De Niro, but he's way up high. He somehow got an even higher vantage point than the cops did, and he had his camera out. Nuts.
Yeah, that was good.
That's what makes it fun. Is they're going back and forth each showing that they know the other.
Yeah. Wait. So Waingro is a serial killer? That part had me reeling a little bit. Like
Yeah,
he killed
they didn't go
the
back
prostitute?
on it too. Like I thought, oh, like because once they set that up, I thought, oh, at the end there's gonna be, you know, like a dead prostitute in his hotel room or something, you know, so that they close that loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
I never really thought of him as a serial killer exactly. I always thought they did it just to really firmly establish that he's just like a psychopath.
The only reason I say that is because when he gets to the scene of the crime, he said, just like the other cop says, just like the other ones. She shows him the picture of her in a barrel or whatever, and she's like, just like the other ones. So I'm like, oh, geez. And he killed the security guard. He killed the armored car guard for really no reason at all. He just, you know, was looking at him funny or whatever. That really set things off. So you wonder why, like, Tom Sizemore kind of has an idea at the beginning, like, I don't know, you know, I don't know who you are. But yeah, you really wonder, like, how did you vet this guy? I mean, Dennis Haysbert, like, they worked with him before, so you're like, oh, okay, he's in because you've already worked with him.
Yeah.
But that guy was like, eh. And he has such a look like a criminal, but
yeah, he does.
Like, great casting.
Yeah, I think the Waingro thing is great because he's so little used, but really effective. Of like having that loose end that, you know, once again, it's like we've seen, you know, other movies have the loose end and whatever, and the way that this guy kind of circles in and out is great. And that as a loose end, he's the lure that gets, you know, your main guy to screw up at the end, instead of being the loose end that rats him out or whatever. You know, it's the revenge. Yeah. I like the way it's done. I don't like the fact that he did it, but I like the way it's done. I like that he was dangling there as a lure.
And from what Trejo says, when he's about to die, he's like, it's pretty elaborate. Like they got his daughter and then used Van Zandt. Like Van Zandt was involved with Waingro, or do I have that confused?
Yeah, no. Well, Waingro said he could help Van Zandt because, you know, Van Zandt now is supposedly on, you know, going to get killed by DeNiro because Van Zandt set him up. So
yeah, Waingro.
I think there's a little bit of a coincidence there that Waingro got back in with the same group of criminals. You know, because he gets the number at the bar of a guy to contact. And then and then he ends up back with Van Zandt, so kind of a little bit of coincidence there. But
yeah,
you know, I think that there's maybe there's only so many heavy cowboys in LA.
Yeah,
they all end up in the same places. Isn't that what he called himself? Something like that.
Cowboy, something
like a cowboy looking for whatever.
Yeah, he says he wanted something, anything heavy.
I read that they offered Ted Levine, who plays Bosco, the guy from Silence of the Lambs. They offered him the Waingro part, and he you know, basically saying, well, could I play someone else?
Yeah,
because he was afraid of getting typecast as like a serial killer type, you know, psychopath type.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I liked about the casting of that guy was like he looks like he would fit right into a crew. He seems mostly coherent. I mean, he's got a neck tattoo, but otherwise you're like, okay, well, you know, whatever. But he also has that look in his eye like, yeah, I could kill people, you know, for no reason.
Yep. Tom Noonan is a double up for us. Who played the guy who brings him the bank job? He was in Last Action Hero, the bad guy with like the sort of half melted face.
Oh,
or
yes.
Whatever.
Yeah, the guy he's talking to, and they're out in the middle of nowhere or something. Yeah. And they're just sitting there on a porch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did notice that guy. He's kind of unmistakable. I mean, I didn't think, I knew it was the guy from Last Action Hero, but I didn't think that specifically. I'm just like, oh, I know that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Waingros actually spent time in prison after the movie for
that was
growing
crazy.
Medical marijuana.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
What a dumb reason to be put in a jail cell.
Yeah, they set up a licensed business to grow and distribute medicinal marijuana in 2002, and though it was legal here in California, the feds arrested him, and he served 2 years of a 41-month sentence. And while he was incarcerated, everyone called him Waingro.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he got more shit than just, for marijuana. Like, what are you in for? Murder, right? It's murder? Little kids? Something like that. Crazy.
I'm surprised the Rotten Tomato score for Heat, the critics is like 84. Which is a little surprising. The general audience is 94, but 84.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What are the negative
Ebert
criticisms?
was like 3 out of 4.
What's that?
What are the negative criticisms? Too long?
I don't know. Well, let's see. What?
Reception. Yeah, you're right. 84%.
All right. So,
yeah, I mean, Ebert was 3 out of 4 stars.
This is
3.5. Sorry.
All right. So I just kind of cherry picked one negative. At its core, it's actually about virtuosity, and by extension, the virtuosity of man himself, Michael Mann, of which there's no short supply. Too bad it's running on empty. If the film weren't so hollow, it would be a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
Yeah. I mean, who said this?
Someone else said it was just way too long. Excruciatingly drawn out climax. I mean, come on.
Simon Coate of the Austin Chronicle said it was one of the most intelligent crime thrillers to come along in years. And he said Pacino and De Niro's scenes together were poignant and gripping.
Yeah.
So there's more of that than not.
Oh my God. Listen to this fucking pompous dumbass. Michael Mann's Heat raises an old question about Hollywood aesthetics. Does banality improve with grandiloquence? Or do fancy sounds and gestures make the trite triter? Fuck you, Nigel. Christ. Who writes shit like that?
I mean, it's not banal.
I know. What the... Does it make the trite triter? Who uses
grandiloquence?
Yeah, I can't even say it.
Yeah.
In a sentence. Who writes that?
Nigel. People named Nigel. Yeah, it's ridiculous because we're all, we're coming around to like how much was going on that we didn't see the first time around. And I guess, if you're a critic, you may be moving a little too fast or something. But I mean, it's realistic. I mean, I think if you want to call it like banal or ordinary or something like that, you're missing the point, I think, because the characters seem real. They have real problems and real feelings, and the human cost is really high. Everybody is affected by all of these things. I mean, how many people got shot in the street during the shootout? In that parking lot, I was like, oh man, get away from the people. What are the people running around for?
But otherwise, like the realness of the city and the simplicity of the way that the criminals are going about their business is not it's not an accident. It's by design. So I don't know. Just one idiot, but
making plans for Nigel.
Yeah, you tell Nigel.
All right, you want to know what we're doing next?
You words him. Sure.
We're doing a movie that I think is frequently referenced.
Just
in general there.
It's hard target, isn't it?
It's not by us.
It's good.
It's actually, I think, it's coming out. It's being remade as a TV show. I think it's a teenage horror movie from the 70s that was not my pick. But Vivian's like, well, if you pick this, I'll watch it with you. She watched this with me, and after the whole movie, she's like, that has a lot of build up for a kind of lame ending. And I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. Anyway, she's like, well, if you pick this, I'll watch it with you. I'm like, all right. So the movie's from 1976.
An old one.
Yes.
And you said did you say it was a horror movie?
Yes.
He did say. Is it a Stephen King horror movie?
Yes.
Is it Christine?
Yep.
All right,
which one?
Carrie.
It's Carrie. It's got to be Carrie.
Yeah.
I was going to say Carrie, but I went with Christine just to cover the bases.
Yeah.
It's got a car, but she wants to watch. Her movie is the movie Car, right?
Yeah. Yes. The car. Yes. Yeah.
The Car? Okay.
Yeah. But no, she said she
Christine.
watched Carrie when she was a kid, and she's willing to watch it again. I don't remember anything about it except for all the blood, because that's the box,
Yeah.
So wait, you've already said that her opinion was that it's not enough of a payoff at the end.
Yeah.
But you haven't watched it in years, I'm guessing.
Talking for Heat. She watched Heat with me, and then we were talking about it.
Oh,
and then
okay. She watched it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, usually she won't watch a movie she'd actually see, and then for some reason it came up. She was like, well, if you did that, I'd watch it again. So I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Forced your hand.
Yes. Also, it's nice to see what 1976 got to offer.
Sure.
And I don't remember jack squat about it.
Other than Mikey and Nikki.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, other than the bloody bucket scene in the whole end, I don't really remember much about Carrie at all.
I guess we'll all be schooled on it real soon.
Yeah.
Read the book. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, same.
Well, that yawn means it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, we bored you to sleep. Just like our audience. Great. It's been our best review yet.
Perfect.
Yeah, even our best review.
Nailed it.
All right, sweet. All right, that's enough movie buff. I'm out.
All right. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time. Thank you. Where's he going?
It's the Fun with Three Brains.
Not now. I'm masturbating in here.